give you pretty good proof, absolute scientific proof, in about 1 minute. Should we give it a try?
Sure.
Scientific proof, guys. That's what we're getting.
Yeah.
Why does that sound Australian then? Scientific proof, guys. All right.
Sounds good.
For the rest of this act, what the fuck is going just hit play, right?
Every building is proof of a builder. Every painting is scientific proof of a painter. We know that.
Hang on, a painting is scientific proof of a painter.
Well, I mean, none of those are scientific proof, but
It's a strong start. Start.
But that's not the first of his problems.
The best he's got is it logically follows that a painting has a painter.
But even so, I mean, it's sort of.
Okay.
A
world has a welder.
Well, yeah.
A river has a riverer.
There's so many. Yeah, it's like so. The first thing is that those are all types of artifacts that we obviously typically attribute to human activity.
It's just the watchmaker, isn't it?
But the I suppose the other thing is there's a sense in which some sort of things could count as a painting or even a building, and it's not clear what the connection is to human activity. Maybe building would be easier, like if you think of like caves that people inhabited or something, like maybe, I mean, it's a bad example. But
No, I like that. So, you've got the shore hitting in a cave and it creates the home. And then someone moves in there, it's like...
Yeah, well, it's a building now, or
is it a bit... Yeah.
Have you seen the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland, where you've got these hexagonal stones that have just loads and loads of them that make what looks like a road going towards Scotland?
Yeah.
I can see
It's a
why
sculpture.
someone would.
So it has a sculptor.
I can see why someone would assume that sort of arrangement might have been made by something or someone.
Yeah.
But obviously, when we keep researching and learning afterwards, as you find out, it's just an entirely natural formation.
And of course, whenever anyone uses a teleological argument, they'll always use something that is created by...
It's an intuitive sort of thing based on things that we already know are created.
And if you're just walking from school to try to get a Starbucks, you're not prepared for this.
So
the Starbucks was created.
So the reverse atheist argument of this, right, would be like, well, you see a rock, well, that wasn't made by a person. You see a lump of mud, well, that wasn't made by a person. So the whole world, that wasn't made by a person.
That wasn't made by a person.
Yeah.
If you flip it around, you can get to the exact same problem.
Because a building cannot build itself, it's impossible, and a painting cannot paint itself. Builder could have died 100 years ago, but there was a builder because the building's there. Painter could have died 300 years ago, but there was a painter.
So he's actually only got one thing here.
It's the same argument.
Just watchmaker.
Yeah. I mean, if you applied his argument to your rock analogy, what are we looking at?
A rock doesn't have a rock maker.
Yeah.
A river doesn't have a river maker. Therefore, a building doesn't have a builder.
Yeah, or the whole world doesn't have a world maker.
Well, the world is actually just a big rock. So it's even... there's actually extra proof that it's a big rock. Because if you take the world, where do, insects and, creepy crawlies live? At the bottom. Where's at the bottom? Australia? Australia's got all of the wildlife, Come on. Done.
What I saw in our comments on one of our previous videos...
By the way, top tier intellect on this channel, okay?
I saw a comment on one of our previous videos that I thought was actually pretty solid. He keeps bringing up things that we know are made. Mm-hmm. How does he distinguish them from anything else?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Don't be thinking like this. Right? Well,
because they said the watch in the field sort of thing, if the field is also made, how do you identify that the watch is unusual?
Well, it's that once he makes his final inference, right, to God's created everything, well, then everything is designed. So what can he actually appeal to claim that something isn't made? If someone just inserts any kind of maker, so why would I not say there's a field maker or a rock maker? Mm-hmm. Why say God did all the geology, for example? Why not have a geology maker who did the geology?
Yeah, why could it not be a pantheon of gods? You've got no reason to suggest a singular god.
But you kind of never get to natural causes, basically, right? If you're reasoning that way, you only get to entities with wills that are making things.
Yeah, effectively everything's supernatural, so there's no distinguishing factor between them.
Yeah.
So any analogy isn't going to be useful because it's all got the same quality.
But I suppose once he's got you to that point, it doesn't matter because you already believe.
You already believe
True.
specifically.
Yeah, he don't care about
So the
this.
argument, the fact that the argument no longer works, doesn't matter because you're already.
It's actually
convinced.
it's a side effect of its effectiveness.
Like, have you noticed that everything we cover is basically
Pre-sup.
watchmaker, then pre-sup?
Yes.
Ray Comfort does that as well.
Yeah.
We're sorry, guys. We're sorry, Nathan, but that's.
You're going to
that's
keep
what-
getting the
that's what we're
same
gonna be getting.
arguments every time we make a video.
because paintings don't paint themselves. Creation is evidence of a creator. Flowers and birds and trees, the sun, the moon, the stars, puppies and kittens.
Creation. He's
What
begging
reason
the
do-
question.
yes.
He's defining it as
How
creation.
do you get
We'll
to call it
yeah.
a creation?
Yeah, that's the best way all the legwork's done. If you call it a creation, you've done your job. If she agrees or anyone agrees that it's a creation, it's done. This reminds me of the dialogue that happens with the ontological argument. They basically set it up in a certain fashion, and then they say, do you think it's possible that God exists? Because you might not have seen all the pieces they put on the table, you go, yeah, it's possible. It exists then. Yeah. That's the way that works. It's just like, it's done
And if you say,
from the get-go.
I don't know if it's possible,
They go, no,
then
you just contradicted
you're being
yourself.
unreasonable.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, yeah, but you haven't given me anything to work off to give a possibility.
Do you think Ray thinks this actually convinces people on the street?
I actually think I do.
Yeah.
I think that Ray's approach is kind of empirically driven in a sense.
Yeah.
That I think he's actually developed this method over years and years and years because it's what has worked most on the street in terms of actually persuading people. And that's not a credit to the method, though. It's more
Well,
a
like I
denigration
say-
of humanity.
It's not Ray Comfort that's doing well, it's everyone else's shit. Fair.
Yay,
but-
humans!
But like I say, is all these people on your camera here and all the rest of it that seem to go, yeah. How much of it is just please leave me alone?
Right.
So you say it's working.
I know a lot of polite people.
Oh
Is
yeah,
it?
I don't think there's good data on that, right? Because what you see as well is obviously, as we've said, like the success cases or what seem to be the success cases.
Yeah.
But whatever, I do think though that whatever he is getting, however small it might be of the total number of people he talks to, this method is the one. I
convinced
think.
some.
Yeah, I think because I think he said that in the past he tried using like Craig style arguments and stuff like that. And the reason he came up with like Way of the Master is because
Maybe he should tell us, rather than raise the epistemic bar, I lower it.
Yeah.
Hang on. I've got to get the face right.
Well done, Kevin. Well done.
Thank you, Kevin.
Why?
How do they do that?
Why? What?
Because you brought this up in one of your videos.
Yeah.
How apologists just sit there for an entire video.
It's a show.
Xanax.
It's a show.
Anyway, we shouldn't be
Right.
making fun of Low Bar Bill.
No,
here.
he does it all by
it's
himself.
It's Ray Comfort.
Male and female, the seasons, the fruits, all these things.
why do you get male and female in there? Like obviously cultural topics are
Yeah, it's
creeping
cool,
into
yeah.
apologetics. Like,
Yeah.
Like why is that so important?
What's the reason to say male and female are made?
Are evidence of the genius of God's creative hand. An atheist believes the scientific
Told you, she's looking for an escape route. Look at her
She
looking
does,
around.
she does a bit. But what?
Do you know what I was actually thinking though when you said she's looking to get out of there? I was like, she's putting the same face that a lot of my dates pull with me.
She's like, where do you want to go next? The arcade? You're like, well
Now I'm sure.
No, this is
inside.
yeah, this is what I'm talking about philosophy. They pull this face at me. Yeah.
That's a lie. We all know that philosophy is a babe magnet. That's how that works.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting word.
Yeah. She goes to the toilet for the 5th time in an hour.
the fruits, all these things are evidence of the genius of God's creative hand. An atheist believes the scientific impossibility that nothing created everything.
That's true.
To me, right?
I get so frustrated when anyone tells me, you believe. It's like, you haven't let me tell you what I believe yet. So what right do you have to tell me what I believe?
Most Christians would get really upset if you went, you believe there was a man in the sky.
Yes.
And
yes.
yet this is the same shit. They
Yeah.
just go up to you and go, you believe that nothing created everything. for one, that's one view that you could have that an atheist has.
That's still
But
better than theism.
It's still better than theism.
Well, no,
Yeah,
it's still the same as theism.
but there's not an
Everything
extra
it still
step
came
of God
from.
in.
It came from nothing, but there was also a thing that.
No. God's necessary being, Reese. He's existed forever. Okay. Nothing.
No. But he doesn't. He also simultaneously doesn't exist because he doesn't exist in time and space or the
Depends on the
material
view.
world.
Yeah, it depends on the view. You can. This is the best thing about God. It's such a shit theory. You can just get it to fit in anywhere and
Whatever
everywhere.
you want it
It's
to.
all data in your favour. I promise you.
That's what a good guy God is. You
Yeah.
can just
He's
do
so
whatever you
strong.
want.
He's just overpowered. You see the patch notes on it.
But obviously, let's try and tackle that a bit more. Is what is nothing?
The absence of
A
everything.
word.
Yeah. Have we got any examples of nothing?
Yes. Ray Comfort's head.
Yeah, that's pretty empty in there. Although there is still air passing through, and occasionally a bee. But
Yeah. Basically, you're driving at. Do we have examples of nothing? No.
so we have no reason. Do we have any reason to say that nothing is even possible?
It's going to be all in intuition, surely. Like, I mean, technically atoms are nearly nothing, but that's you're not going to grasp.
Well, I think a
Nearly nothing.
metaphysical nothing, right, is a special kind of nothing.
But
that
why are
isn't-
we allowed to just decide that that's a thing?
Well, I think that this is one of those, in my view, this is one of those sorts of ways of using words in philosophy that's special and deviates from the way a word normally works. Like, if I say I've got nothing in my bank account, right, you don't think, wow, there's a weird, like,
Literally-
metaphysical thing.
literally,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's because there's a word that has a use, but the use is actually really ordinary when we look at it in normal life. But in
Yeah, well,
the
it's-
context of, like,
You've got
metaphysics.
colloquial usage versus like an academic usage.
Well,
Almost.
I mean, unfortunately, philosophy's still in academia.